Good morning, Melinda. I'm glad you're here. All right, so for our work today, you're going to want a chair. You're going to go heavy weights, one single lightweight, and your looping resistance band. And then Pilates ball is an optional for one of the moments way down the line, but it's for niceness. So if you're not looking to be nice to yourself today, you can skip that part. All right, so facing the low side of the chair, it's going to be inhale, arms are going to just reach up, just take a nice gentle good morning stretch. Hands are going to find the chair. Do a cat cow. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tail. Exhale, round your back. And then which way you go for this next bit, totally up to you. You step back to a plank or a down dog, and then down dog to a plank. So you're just going to alternate between those two, walk it forward, come back up, and then just take that nice big overhead reach. So that's the work. Overhead reach, chair position, take a little cat cow, flexion and extension of the spine, step back to a light little plank or a down dog, and then find a down dog or a plank. So we're getting both of those little shapes, and then we walk it forward and then come right back up, reach up towards the sky, and take your time. You don't have to go fast. Get a little bit of waking up in the spine and the nervous system. Feel into your strength today. How does that plank position feel? How does that down dog stretch feel? And then come right back up and take that big reaching stretch up towards the sky again. All right, that's time. Now we're going to take it into just some alternating toe taps. So facing that low side of the chair, start to find a little bit of balance. If you get here and already you're like, oh, my balance, turn yourself sideways so you can get a light handhold to the chair, but a little bit of pickup. So we want to feel like our hip flexors, front pockets of the jeans area, is getting a little bit of lively work. Try to stay nice and steady. Try not to let too much of your weight push your hips off to the side as you transition. And then if the balance is there and you're feeling good about the work, then you're going to add a little tap and twist. So when your toe taps up, get a little twist towards that front leg and then switch it to the other side. Ten seconds left. Check in here, get a sense of like, how does that spinal twist motion feel to your back and your body today? And then we're going to take it a little bit lower. So you're going to come into a forward position so your hands find the chair. Let's say if left hand stays on the chair, left knee bends, right leg straightens, and the right hand reaches up towards the sky. Right hand's going to come down, right leg's going to bend, left leg's going to straighten, and the left hand reaches up towards the sky. So straight leg, that hand reaches up towards the sky. Bent leg, that hand stays connected to the chair. We're just alternating between these two spaces. Come in with some nice, slow, steady motion. And then if you will, use your exhale for that big reach and twist. We've got 10 seconds left. And then just to tell you where we're heading next, we're going to grab our heavy hand weights. We're going to go into that wide leg position where we do the pick it up, put it down, and we get a little bit of a rhythm going on. However, just as an FYI, come up away from your chair. You can always do that move from the low surface of the chair. So if you feel like coming into that wide position and going way down to the ground doesn't feel like where you're at this Monday morning, you could do it at the low surface of the chair. You add a little bit of a lunging and squatting, you get that nice pick it up, put it down. But if you would rather take it to a nice wide degree, step away from your chair, nice and wide. We put the weights down and then we pick them back up. And when we do that pickup, we want to drive those elbows up and back to get some nice work in the back body. Find the shape and the space that makes the most sense to you today. And then find that nice coordination of work. 10 seconds left. All right, that's time. Come on up nice and slow. Take your time. Now we're going to flip our chair around so we have the tall side as a handhold. It's going to be 1 minute on one side, 1 minute on the other side. For me, when I was practicing this move, personally, I like the inside leg doing the work. So you're going to think like you're kicking a bicycle, right? You're going to get this nice bicycle maneuver going on. But while that leg is doing that bicycle maneuver, and we'll go 30 seconds going in one direction, 30 seconds going the other way, but you're going to take your open hand that's on the outside, get a funky grip with your lightweight, hold it out, and you're just holding it out there for a minute. So we've got a nice loose touch to the chair, and then we're pedaling a bicycle with that single leg. You've got it. And you're going to try to stay nice and stacked on that standing leg. So not too much wobbliness, not too much pushing out, not too much of a death grip on the chair. All right, now take that bicycling leg and go in reverse. Nice, Helen. 10 seconds left on this side. Woo, and time. All right, lower your arm, take a second, shrug that shoulder out. Of course, we're flipping it all around to the other side. So spin yourself around, spin your chair around, get yourself where you want to be. Your handhold depending. So where does it feel good? I like the hand to the chair and I'm working the inside leg, but choose the position that you feel the most stable in. Get your hand weight, get that nice funky grip, and then get that inside leg doing that bicycling maneuver. All right, leg bicycling, go the other way. Ten seconds left. Nice job. All right, that's time. Take a second. Woo! Lower your arm, lower your leg, give everything a shake. Now position your chair the way it makes the most sense. We're taking it into a slow decelerization, sit down, and a power push to come up. So find your chair, make sure that the seat is comfortably behind you. And then once you've got yourself set up, we're going slow. So nice slow decelerization, so slow. Even if you go only for 5 of them because you went so slow, that's what I want. And then big push off as you come up. Slow as you lower down, choose to find that inhale if you can. Exhale, big power push to come up. You can sit all the way down, or you can just let your butt find the chair, slow lower down, and then big exhale, come up. You've got it. You're already halfway there. Ten seconds left to tell you where we're heading next. We're going to come into a seated position and we're going to take it with our band and we're going to do some seated clams with that looping resistance band around our thighs. So if you've got the thicker band and you prefer to use that, that's one of those places where it's going to feel a little bit better. So grab your looping resistance band, find your way to a seated position on the low surface of your chair, and then we're kicking that band all the way up so it comes around up and over the bend of our knees. And then you take a second to just work out all those little wiggles and wrinkles. Once you've got it all worked out, soles of the feet just a little bit together, or big toes a little bit together, knees a little bit together. We push the knees out into the band. We return with good control. So don't let that band snap you in, and sit up as tall as you can. We've got 1 minute on the clock. Go nice and slow. Press out with good control. Come in with good control. 5 seconds left with this seated clam, and then we're going to take it into alternating leg abductions. So here we go. When you're ready, step one foot out, nice big hop, step it in, step the other foot out, nice big hop. So now you're pushing the side of your thigh into the band, still staying nice and tall. So most of this motion is coming from the bottom half of the body. Upper body is just staying nice and tall and active. You look amazing. Beautiful work. 5 seconds left. All right, that's time. Now we're going to move that band down. It's going to come around your ankles. So here's where the green stretchy one is going to be a little bit more useful. So if you've got the thick guy, just keep it around your thighs. Move your green band around your ankles. And then once you've got your way there, we're going into some leg extensions. So we're going to do 30 seconds one side, 30 seconds the other. So you're just going to pick your thigh up just a touch, so it's a little bit floating above the surface of the chair, and then keep it in that light lifted position. Keep that nice tall upright spine. It's not about perfectly straightening the leg. It's about feeling good work coming from the top of your thigh. So I like to go a little palpation for that stuff. Hand on the top of the thigh, make sure it feels really firm in the top of your thigh. Nice job. All right, when you're ready, set that foot down, switch it right over to the other side. Ten seconds left. All right, that's time. Go ahead and take a second. Kick your feet out from that loop. We're coming back up to standing. We're going to be standing facing the tall side of the chair. So we're going to take 3 positions to find an abdominal vacuum. Abdominal vacuum is good for our abdominal muscles. It's good for our pelvic floor. It's good for our heart. It's good for our lungs. It gives a fascial stretch to the inside, toning to the inside muscles, makes space in the rib cage for more breath, makes a nice exercise for the heart. But if you have uncontrolled blood pressure, you're going to skip the abdominal vacuum, just do the postural work. We're going to start by facing the tall side of the chair with just a light touch, and then you're going to tip forward. You're going to get a little bit of that slight access forward so you feel nice and tall and upright, but there's just that shift so your weight feels like it's slightly into the toes and the balls of the feet. Double tuck your chin, eyes on the horizon, take a big breath. As you exhale, press gently down into your heels, grow a little taller through the top of your head. Now you're going to inhale and pay attention to the sound quality of your breath. Take a nice full inhalation, 360 breath, fill your rib cage up. Notice the sound quality of your breath as you exhale. We're looking for this nice little pivotal point where you have a natural exhalation. And then if you pushed it further, there's an effort that comes from abdominal muscles to push that extra bit of air out. We're looking for that sweet spot. So we want that sweet spot right at that moment where you've let the breath come out naturally. And after that point, you'd have to push it out with force and use abdominal muscles. No abdominal muscles getting engaged. So take another big in breath, fill your rib cage up, get nice and tall. And you're going to exhale slowly. 4, 3, 2, 1. Close off nose, mouth, and throat, or pinch your nose closed, keep your mouth closed. Take a fake inhalation. Let the diaphragm fly up, let your belly be nice and soft. This one's the hardest, it's a little bit loaded. Hold breath just for a moment. And then when you're ready, release. Now we're going to walk the feet back just a touch, and you're going to come into that 45-degree lean, a slight bend to the knees, nice long spine, and a slight double tuck of the chin. So you should be looking at the surface or the tall side of the chair where your hands are touching. Once you've got your way there, take another big 360 breath. Inhale, fill your rib cage. Exhale, we're looking for that point of exchange. Slow exhalation where the breath goes out naturally. Listen into the sound quality of your breath. Look for that moment where you'd have to force the breath out if you kept going. Take a moment just to notice that little continuum of breath. And then on your next inhalation, big 360 breath, fill the rib cage up. Exhale slow. 4, 3, 2, 1. Close off nose, mouth, and throat, or pinch your nose closed. Keep your mouth closed. Take a fake inhalation. It should feel a little easier here to catch a fly if you can. Lift that diaphragm up. Let the rib cage open, lift, and expand. Hold your breath for a moment. When you're ready, release your air. Now we're walking back to a down dog shape. It'll be slightly unloaded, but there's a little bit of tension now in the fascia of the upper body. Stretch your arms out, walk your butt back, take a nice big 360 breath, fill your rib cage up. Exhale slow. 4, 3, 2, 1. Close off nose, mouth, and throat. Pinch your nose closed, keep your mouth closed. Take a fake inhalation. See if you can get that diaphragm to fly up and hold your breath for a moment again. Awesome. When you're ready, slowly release your air. Slowly walk yourself right up to the tall side of the chair, moving it right into 30 seconds one side, 30 seconds the other, single leg calf raise. So find your good handhold where you have a light sense of control, and then just work on one leg, up and down at a slow and even pace. Ten seconds left on this side. All right, when you're ready, switch your feet and then right back to that single leg calf raise. Ten seconds left. Nicely done. All right, back to single leg work. Go back to that starting leg, but now we're going to go into a single leg squat. So position yourself comfortably so you get a nice controlled handhold. And then today, just focus on how far can you dip that knee down, and then strongly push yourself up. So a lot of times we'll go like slow motion, avoid the wobble. We'll do look at the toe, do all that sort of stuff. For today, just find that comfortable handhold and then bend your knee and straighten it up. You've got it. 3 seconds left on this leg. All right, when you're ready, switch your legs and then right back to it. One leg bends and straightens. Nice work. 10 seconds left. To tell you where we're heading next, we'll move a little bit away from our chair to take some deadlift work. So you'll want your heavy weights for your deadlift work. All right, that's time. Set your feet down, grab your heavy weights. We're going to be working 30 seconds one side, 30 seconds the other in a staggered stance. So stagger your stance, get that nice width so your feet feel like they're on those sturdy railroad tracks. Lower your arms so that the weights are nice and loaded in front of the body. Go for the hip hinge maneuver. Push your butt back. Focus on that butt push back. Come up halfway, lower back down, and then big push all the way back up. So go add that little half lift in the middle. Staggered stance deadlift with that little half lift. We got 30 seconds on this side. Nice and slow. Focus on that butt. Push the butt back. Come up halfway. Lower back down. Exhale. Push all the way into the foot. Come up. You've got it. All right, go for one more up and down. And then the next time you come all the way up, switch your stance, get yourself sturdy first, and then back to that deadlift maneuver. Focus on that butt push back, halfway up, back down, all the way up. And then we push the butt back again. We've got 30 seconds on this side. Focus on that good control. Use your breath to support the effort. All right, that's time. Come up nice and slow. Take your time. Now we're going to go, this is all going to be a little bit depending on how sturdy your chair feels underneath you. So you do want to make sure it's on your sticky mat, or at least the legs of the wall are connected to the chair so it's not going to push out from underneath you. We're going to go into a side plank, but we're going to go tall side of the chair, side plank. We're going to be 30 seconds one side, 30 seconds the other, but the focus of this work is down on that grounded foot. So you're going to try to get, so you're only mostly on the blade edge of your foot so that the toe and the ball are a little bit off. And then you're going to lean into the chair just enough where you feel that sturdiness in your side body. Want to feel like the side waist muscles are just a little bit on, the shoulders a little bit firm, the arm helping you hold is nice and sturdy. And then we're going to lift that leg up and off to the side. And all you got to do is hang out here steady. You can extend the arm out, keep active and alive through the whole side of your body. Slow, steady breath. Try to stay on that blade edge of the foot best you can. So it's a real strong ankle position. Nice job. Okay, take a moment just to come off and out, and then we're flipping it to the other side. You adjust your chair, you adjust yourself in a way that makes good sense. If the chair is not safe, do it against the wall. Find the position that feels safe and sturdy. See if you can walk out a little bit, get onto the blade edge of that foot. Sturdy your shoulder, sturdy the side of your waist. Get that outer leg in that lifted position, and then hold steady with the breath. I like to find planks in all different positions because we aren't just planking on the floor. We do all sorts of stuff that holds and uses those side body muscles. Nice, good control. I don't typically walk around this earth doing much in a side plank position, but I do oftentimes lean out and find things, reach up and find things, pivot out and find things. So you want that good position where you feel in super good control of your body. All right, whoo, take a second, release everything. Now facing the low side of the chair, reposition your chair, reposition yourself. We're going to do a little coordination drill. So similar to our bird dogs that we do on the ground, you're going to be in that bent tabletop position, but we're going to stay 30 seconds, left arm, right leg. So left arm reaches, right leg reaches, left arm, right leg. And you're coordinating between those two, left and right, and left and right. And you're going to find a little bit of a pace. But as you keep this pace, you don't lose good control of your body. So the torso stays in good control. Your head stays in a relatively neutral position. So you're probably mostly looking down at the surface of your chair. Left arm, right leg. Left arm, right leg. You've got it. Three seconds left. All right, when you're ready, switch yourself over to the other side. Reposition where you need to. And then we're going right arm, left leg. Right arm, left leg. Good coordination, good stability in the center. This one doesn't need to be super fast, but it also doesn't want to be super slow. We want to ask the brain to just kick on a little bit. Right hand, left leg. Get that good coordination going on and that good stability in your center. You guys look beautiful. Nice work. 5 seconds left. Nice, Lori. That looks excellent. All right, that's time. We're coming down onto our backside. We're putting our heels up onto the surface of the chair. We're taking it into the heels on hip bridge. So if you want to put your looping resistance band on, now's the time to do it. Once you've got your band on, for the band on, I would say put it up and over the bend of the knees. That's probably going to feel like it's giving you that good resistance and tension in the legs. So put your band on if that feels like a nice thing you want to have happen for your body today. Kick your legs up and over the chair. Scoot your bum back just a little bit So you're roughly 90-degree bend or slightly long lever hip bridge position. And then once you've got your way there, dig those heels into the surface of your chair, lift your butt up and return with good control. Use your exhale to lift and your inhale to lower. When you've got that band around your legs, you want to shoot to maintain 2 fist width distance of space between the knees. So you hold good sturdy tension in the legs and then use the breath for the rest. Exhale as you lift your butt up, inhale as you lower it down. Five seconds left. All right, that's time. Now, anybody who wants that Pilates ball for that restful position, pop that Pilates ball between your knees, get it arranged, and then let the legs reduce as much effort as possible. Once you've got that position, and that's just an option for anyone who knows that work and really enjoys it, we're taking it right into Pilates 100 with our feet gently resting on the chair. So heels just lightly connected, but the legs are a little bit active still for anybody who's not holding that ball between the knees. And then we exhale, curl up, start to pump the arms. We inhale for a count of 5 and exhale for a count of 5. Take a little quick peripheral glance at your abdominal muscles. We want to make sure that they're gently pressing downward, not doming up in a little triangle. So check your abdominal muscles, make sure they're looking pretty good. And then get that work going. Inhale, count to 5, pump your arms. Exhale, count to 5, pump your arms. "15 seconds left." As we've discussed many times now, there are moments where less is more. So if you're doing the work and you need to catch a break, you always have the option, lower down, catch your breath, come back into it when it makes the most sense. For some of us, the challenge is already there from the first 10 seconds. All right, take an inhale, lower down. You're going to step your feet down onto the ground, just moving them slightly away from the surface of the chair, but try to maintain that 2 fist width distance of space between your knees. Now take it into pelvic tilt. As you exhale, just press your low back into the ground. And as you inhale, release to the natural curve of your back. You're going to keep that 2 fist distance of space between those knees so you have a little bit of resistance on the band. If you've got the ball between your knees, you're going to relax all effort in the legs, still doing this pelvic tilt. Exhale, press down. Inhale to release. We got 5 more seconds, and then we're going to take 1 abdominal vacuum in this low position. All right, when you're ready, neutral spine. So think back of the rib cage connected to the ground, neutral hips, feet about hip width distance apart, about 2 fist width distance of space between the knees. Arms are going to come out low Venus position, so about 45 degrees away from the body, palms facing up. Now take a big in-breath, fill your rib cage up. Exhale and just notice the exchange of the sound of your exhalation. Look for that point where it finishes the natural exhale, and then you'd have to force the breath. And then on your next inhalation, just fill up, take a nice big 360 breath. Exhale slowly again, paying attention to that exchange point where the breath is natural and then where the breath would have to be forced to get the rest out. So when we do an abdominal vacuum, we keep about 10% of breath in the chamber. When you're ready, last cycle of breath. This one, we're going to shoot for an abdominal vacuum if you can. Take a nice big 360 breath. Inhale, fill your rib cage up. A slow exhalation. 4, 3, 2, 1. Close off your nose, mouth, and throat, or pinch your nose closed. Take a fake inhalation. Let the diaphragm suction upward, and the rib cage lifts open and expands. Hold your breath for a moment. And then when you feel called to do so, take a big in-breath, release your air. All right, now we're going to grab our hand weights and take it right into a chest press. So for hand weights, I would say go for the heavy ones if you can stand it. We're loading right up in front of the chest, elbows nice and wide, back body nice and firmly connected to the ground. If you've got that looping resistance band on, you're keeping that 2 fist width distance of space between your knees. If you've got the ball between your knees, you're relaxing effort in the legs if you can help it. We've got 1 minute on the clock. Take your time. Use your exhale. Press those nice heavy weights up towards the sky. Inhale, slow lower back down to the ground. As you go along, if you can, just take a moment to assess your head position. Does it feel like your chin is tilted slightly upward? Are you looking towards the corner of your ceiling? Can you double tuck your chin slightly and keep a little bit of length in the back of your neck? And then once you've got that little bit of length in the back of your neck, as you press the weights up towards the sky, imagine you're also trying to press the low back bone of the ribs down into the ground. So keeping that neutral rib cage position. Exhale, we press the rib cage down as we press the weights up. All right, that's time. We're moving it right into a fly with a skull crusher. Stick with those heavy weights if you can. Arms up in front of the chest, palms facing in towards each other. Keep a little bend in the elbows. Open out wide where you are in good control of those heavy weights. Bring them back in and then bend the elbows like you're just trying to touch your earlobes. Bend them back up towards the ceiling. Open out nice and wide. Come back in and then into skull crusher. Work those triceps, bend the elbows, press them back up. We got 1 minute on the clock. Slow and steady work here. All right, that's time. Take a second, put those hand weights down. Take a second, sit yourself up. Kick that band out from around your legs. So if you still got it on, pat yourself on the back. That is sometimes hard work. Once you've got that band off of your legs, bring your legs into butterfly position. Soles of the feet together, knees out to the left and the right. And then just a little baby lean forward, just especially if you had that band on the whole entire time, the side of your hips were probably like, woo, lean forward just enough where you feel that first little stretch into the side of your hips and then take a nice big breath. Come out of that fold just enough. Help your knees come together. We're going to come up to standing, a wide leg stance, folding towards the low surface of the chair. So bring yourself up in a way that makes good sense. And then you're just going to step your legs out to a really nice, comfortable width, something that feels like it's right on that edge of positive stress, right? So walk your legs out, 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 and then fold yourself forward and use the chair as that little bit of support. So you almost want to feel like it's more about finding that stretch in the legs and that the chair is there just to give you that handhold and support. Find that nice, good stretch. And then you're going to see if you could take it into mini micro lunges. So you're just going to bend one knee a little bit and then bend the other knee just a little bit. Beautiful. Take one more bend of each leg. And then when you're ready, use your hands, help lift your torso up, slowly and carefully step your legs in closer so that you can walk them back. So now we're taking it back to a down dog stretch. You're going to walk your legs back, keep your arms nice and stretched out to the low surface of the chair. And then once you've got that nice feeling of stretch through the back side of your body, take a nice big breath. Bend your knees, lift yourself up, slowly walking yourself up. And then we're going to sit our butt down into the chair into a seated figure 4 stretch. So you're going to sit your butt down so it finds just the front edge of your chair. Take one leg and just cross it over the other. And then for some of us, it's a low figure 4. You're going to make sure your knees and your hips appreciate the work. Find a figure 4 that makes sense. And then you're going to lean your chest forward so you just feel like you're bringing your heart towards your shin. Take one more breath. All right, come up nice and slow, uncross your legs and take it to the other side. Bring that leg up, over, and across. Low might be where it's at. Always pick the position that makes the most sense to you today. Once you found that shape, lean your chest forward towards your shin. Go where you feel that first little feeling of stretch and then hang out there, soften into your breath. If you're sticking around, you want to go ahead and grab your massage ball. So take your time, come up and out of that stretch, uncross your legs, give your legs a little windshield wiper. We're going to work from the chair a little bit, get into the hamstrings, get into the side of the shoulder, I think shoulder head area. But for some of us, that shoulder, bye Helen, happy Monday. For some of us, that shoulder, you might approach it a little bit against the wall versus the chair. It'll all just kind of be the way, like how does your chair behave? If you put that up against that side of the shoulder head, can you lean into the back side of your chair? So for that one, when we get there, you'll just choose your own adventure. All right, so we're going to start by just taking the ball and we're going to go as close to the butt leg as we can. So think about kind of that insertion point where that nice little curve of your butt, where your butt meets your leg. Find that curve of your butt, and then you're going to take your massage ball and you're going to see if you can just get it right into that space, and then just kind of ask yourself, how much can you lean onto it where you feel like there's a little bit of positive stress? You can relax your shoulders, though. You can soften your jaw. Take a nice big breath. All right, now you're going to see if you can get like a little micro windshield wiper action going with that knee. And then for some of the stuff, when we go along and we work against the back of the thigh, it's like, how does your chair behave? How does the ball behave? Where can you find space to move? So just, sometimes that repositioning, just so you find what feels really right to your body. Take one more little swish of that knee, and then we're just going to move it on down like we're moving it closer towards the knee. So lift up, reposition, go just down an inch or so. Like you're still kind of trying to stay near that butt leg area. And then come right back to that swish of the knee from side to side. When we do our myofascial release work, though, we always want to make sure, are you breathing comfortably? That's going to be a clear indication that you're somewhere you want to be. Do you feel better when you're done than when you started, or at least do you feel neutral? If you get done with the work and you feel bruised, do you feel like you've created new pain in your body? You feel like you can't breathe very well, or you feel a little sick to your stomach? All of those things are no-goes. We're not going to ever push ourselves to that. Myofascial release is a collaborative work. So you want to get in there and say, what's available today? Am I breathing comfortably? Can I relax my armpits? Can I soften my jaw? All right, take one more moment there, and then we're going to move it on down another inch or so. So just inching our way closer to the knee. Find a new spot. See if you can get that leg heavy onto it, and then come right back to that little wobble of the knee. All right, one more little wobble, and then we're going to hit a point where it's going to feel good to get a little bit more room to move that leg across the ball. So now we're going to move it down just a touch, see where you land, and then see, like for me, my leg is actually in a lift, so I can get some nice big glide going across the back of my thigh. So see now, where can you get a little bit of movement coming across the back of your thigh? Can you keep your jaw soft while you do it? All right, one more moment there, and then we're just going to move it down another inch or so. Find a new spot, getting a little bit lower down that back of the thigh, and then right back to the wobble of the leg. Now, depending on where you've landed, like for me, I'm roughly middle of my thigh. So see if you can land roughly middle of your thigh and then add just a little light hinge of the knee. Nice. One more little light hinge and then move it on down, finding one lower point and then see if you can just add that swish again. One more swish and then see if you can add that little hinge. Awesome. One more moment, and then we're going to move it on down one last time. So you're just going to reposition one last time, finding the lowest point that your leg, your chair will allow, and then come back to that little swish and wobble. One more little swish and wobble, and then add that little knee hinge. Nice. One more little knee hinge and then re-grab that ball. Now we're going to hit the side of the shoulder and then we're going to work the foot. So whether you want to get up and out of your chair and then come back down, totally up to you. But we're going to just find that side of the shoulder head and you're going to see if you can just kind of pin it up against the back of the chair, pin it up against the wall, and then just kind of think about letting your shoulder or the muscle around that head of your shoulder, just let it get a little bit softer for a moment. And then chair, wall, depending, you're going to see if you can add just a touch of pivotal movement, as if you're just trying to find a little bit more front, a little bit more back. Now your shoulder might feel like just fine. It might feel very neutral and non-specific in feeling, or it might feel really sensational. Like I get some nice, really good sensation here. So find a spot that feels the most sensational and see if you can just kind of press a little bit firmer into it. And then you're going to see what little micro movement can you find with that arm, whether it's like a little mini bicep curl, whether it's a little mini uppercut, just a tiny bit of movement. So we've pinned the muscle against the ball. Now can you move a little something from within? And it doesn't have to be specific. You're just saying, what movement is available when I move this way or that? What does that feel like against the ball? Take one more moment just to find a little exploratory movement. All right, and then come off of that ball. Take a second and just get some blood flow right back all the way up into that shoulder head. Get as much movement into that shoulder as you can stand. And then we're taking it all the way down to the foot. So that leg that you just worked on, that shoulder head that you just worked on, put that ball underneath that foot, and you're going to stack your other free foot on top. And with that light, gentle pressure of the top foot, you're just going to roll the length of the foot. And then as you're rolling the length of the foot, you might still have, like for me, again, my shoulder was sensational. So you might notice one side might just feel suddenly a lot warmer than the other side that you were working on. So I like to take a moment just to notice those little subtle variations that show up once you've done a little touch of work. All right, take one more roll through the bottom of the foot, and then we're picking that ball up and we're coming right back underneath our thigh. So now we're moving up so that we're in that butt leg area. So as close towards the butt and the butt meets the leg point. And then you're going to see, can I just melt the back of my thigh over that ball? Take a nice big breath. All right, and then you're going to see, and I'm spinning my chair around, but you're going to see now, could you add that little bit of windshield wiper action? Can you get a little soft and subtle movement against the back of the thigh? Awesome. One more moment there, and then we're just going to move it on down an inch or so. So just kind of creeping our way down, working through the back of the thigh, find that new spot, and then ask yourself, can you add that little windshield wiper action? As you go along, there might be points where you're like, no, stillness is better or softness is better, right? There's always those moments where your body might ask for something slightly different. So choose the one that feels the best to you. Nice. One more windshield wiper. And then when you're ready, move it on down another inch or so. Find a new spot. Come right back into those windshield wipers if it feels good. I hit that point where my leg is in a little bit of a hover because of my proportions, because my legs are short and my chair is short as well. But then once that ball gives that little bit of height, I have a little bit more room to move. Yours might be the same, or you might already been there. You might have a super tall chair. So find that swivelly movement that makes the most sense. Get a nice breath into your body. All right, and then we're going to move it on down again. So find a lift, move it down, find that new spot, soften over it, and then add that pivotal movement. All right, now this middle spot where you're in that middle thickest part of the thigh, see if you can add that little knee hinge. Nice. One more little knee hinge and then move that ball on down. Just find a new location. Come back to the swishing windshield wiper motion. Nice. One more swish from side to side and then take it into your little knee hinge. Wonderful. One more little knee hinge and then move it down again. And again, you just reposition yourself as you go along so you can find the area that gets the work in a way that makes good sense to your chair. Add that swishing motion if it feels good. The hamstrings to me are the most interesting because my hammies never bother me until I get to the ball work and I'm like, oh, there's some tension. Oh, there's a spot. Like I didn't even know. All right, take one more swish and then add that knee hinge if it feels good. But of course, if you have tight hamstrings, the whole work and the entire time might be just you practicing soft jaw, soft breath. All right, take one more knee pivot, and then you're just finding that last little spot. So how low can you get in the back of that thigh? Can you get a little bit of windshield wiper action across the back of the thigh? Nice. And then when you're ready, take it into that little knee hinge. Beautiful. One more little knee hinge. And then when you're ready, lift up. And now we're going to go back to that shoulder head. So whether you go against the chair, whether you go against the wall, there's no right or wrong. Where could you go that you could press with a little bit of an intention, get a little bit of a firm hold against that muscle on the shoulder? Soften, take a big breath, just make sure that feels comfortable enough because that might be enough. You might just stay there and stay steady. If a little bit of gentle motion feels good, then you're just going to do that little rocking motion. Tip a little bit forward, tip a little bit back. All right, one more moment to find that little tipping forward and back motion and then see, could you land on a spot that feels pretty sensational? Notice that. Maybe just soften and melt over it, or maybe you add that playful motion. So maybe it's like a little bicep curl, maybe it's a little uppercut, any little movement down into the arm that feels exploratory, where you go, ooh, when I turn my hand, it does this, or ooh, when I move my biceps, it does this, or ooh, when I drive my elbow, it feels like this. So just a little playful moment to find something that feels interesting. All right, one more moment to play. And then when you're ready, grab that ball, come up and away. Take a second to take some big blood flow back into the heads of the shoulders. Take some nice, big, generous movement. Get that whole shoulder girdle moving just a little bit. And now we're going to move our chair. We're going to come down. Oh, no, I forgot our foot. Wait, wait, there's more. Place that ball down on the ground. Now take it down into that foot that you did the hamstrings on. Stack your feet so you get that little slight bit of downward pressure and then just a soft roll through the bottom of the foot. Beautiful. One more roll through the bottom of your foot. And then when you're ready, we're going to come down onto our back. So you'll clear your chair just enough so you have some space to come down. And then once you've got your chair out of the way, we're going to go no man's land on one side, no man's land on the other side, shoulder blades on the one side, shoulder blades on the other. So we're going to do a little single ball work. But if you know you prefer that double ball because it disperses the feeling a little bit and you like that lighter sense, put your ball back in the net, do it one at a time. Come down onto your back. When we go no man's land, we shoot for the space between the bottom bone of the ribs and the top bone of the hips. So there's that little bit of space in between the rib cage and the hip bones where there's muscle, the spine, but not a lot of other bony structure. So that's what we're going to shoot for. Come down onto your back. Take a second to think about, where is your rib cage? Where is the bony structure of your hips? Where's that soft little place of your waist? Lift your butt up. Get that ball underneath the muscle on the right side of the spine. And then resettle your butt down just for a second and take a nice big breath. On right side, so we're going to let the right leg do a little bit of work. So you're going to start by just letting the right leg do a little half butterfly in and out. Everything else gives support. So your hands can be wherever feels the most supportive. Like I've got my left leg just a little bit cocked out to the side, so it gives me that pressure into my foot so I can hold that constant steady pressure on that right side on the ball. So you lighten up pressure in a way that makes sense to your body, or put the pressure on in a way that makes good sense. Find the last moment here with that little half butterfly work. And now we're going to do that little knee drive. So you're going to take that right knee and just move it up and down. Here we'll increase the intensity. So you're going to make sure it feels comfortable. You can breathe as you go. Now, for some of us, the intensity is a lot. So you're going to put the foot down. But for some of us, it'll feel good to just touch base with it a little bit. Bring your knee up, catch hold of the knee, and then let your knee get a little heavy into your hand so your leg doesn't have to work too hard here. Once you've got that knee into your hand and that leg is a little bit soft and heavy, take a big 360 breath like you're trying to breathe past your rib cage, past that ball, down into your pelvic floor. Take one more breath. All right, now you're going to release your knee, come back to that light knee drive, go for about 3 coming up and down. And then the next time the foot sets down, come back to those little half butterflies, just a little bit of in and out motion. Nice. One more moment there, and then lift your butt up. Move that ball over to the other side. So left side, no man's land, in between the ribs and the bones of the hips. Find that spot in that left side muscle group of that runs along the length of the spine. Once you've got your way there, pause for a moment, notice, take a big breath. And now you're going to see if you can get that left leg to do that little half butterfly work, just a little bit in and out. It doesn't need to be extreme. You just want to feel like you have a little bit of motion, and then it kind of counterbalances you. So you get this soft wave of motion over the ball, but it's hopefully not too much. But because one side might be completely different from the other, we pay attention, we honor what we're got going on this side. When you feel ready, if it feels good to do so, add that little knee lift up and down. Wonderful. And then the next time that knee is in a lifted position, you're going to see if you can catch hold of your knee. Now let your knee rest into your hand. So the leg doesn't have to do any work, but you've got that little tug of tension across that back of the spine muscle. Now take a big breath. Breathe like you're trying to breathe past the back of your rib cage, past that ball connected to your muscles. Pass the ball down to the pelvic floor, and then a soft exhale, empty from the bottom to the top. All right, when you're ready, we're going to release that hold of the leg and come back to those knee drives. Take about 3, moving the knee up and down. And then once you've done about 3, set that leg down, go for about 3 little half butterflies. Wonderful. And then once you've done about 3 there, let it come to stillness, push into your feet, lift your hips up, move that ball out from underneath you. And then once you've got that ball out from underneath you, both knees come up into the chest and then little gentle rocking from side to side, just to put a little ease into the low back, a little bit of increased blood flow, a little bit of increased warmth. Lovely. One more gentle rock from side to side, and now we're going to move it on up so that we come into that space between the shoulder blade and the spine. So up on the right, move that ball up and into place. And then once you've got yourself into a nice place where it feels pretty good, take a second to go fingertips to the shoulder, and you're going to draw some small range of motion, slow motion circles with your elbow. All right, take those small range of motion, slow motion circles and go the other way. One more circle, and then arms are going to come out nice and wide, and you're just going to take it into some small range of motion, snow angel arms. So just finding a range of motion that feels good and positive, and you don't grit your teeth, and you can breathe comfortably the whole time. All right, now right arm is just going to reach over and across, and it's going to find left shoulder, and it's going to hold on to that left shoulder. And then you're just going to hang out here for a second and take a nice big breath. Two more breaths and move your elbow up and down. Inhale, move the elbow up. Exhale, move the elbow down. Inhale to move it up. Exhale to move it down, and then roll off that ball, and we're passing it right over to the other side. So you're going to grab that ball, get it out from underneath that right shoulder blade area, and then we're just moving it right over to the left. So roughly symmetrical. If you can stand it, get it into that place on the other side. And then once you've got it in place on the other side, pause for a moment to notice, make sure everything feels like it's ready to do a little bit of work. And then once you feel like you're ready to go, fingertips to the shoulder, soft and gentle elbow circles going in one direction. Soft and gentle elbow circles going in the other direction. All right, and then when you're ready, arms going to come out nice and wide, right into those snow angel arms, finding whatever range of motion makes the most sense to you, slow and soft as you go. One more snow angel arm up and down, and then that left hand's going to come over and across, finding the right shoulder. Take a big breath. Nice. Now, last 2 breaths, you move that elbow up and down. So as you inhale, the elbow moves up. And then as you exhale, the elbow tugs down. Inhale, we lift it up. Exhale, gently lower it down. And then find that middle position so that you can ease off that ball. Get it out from underneath you. And then once you've got the ball out from underneath you, just pause for a moment with your back in a fairly neutral position on the ground. Just give your mind, give your body, give your nervous system just a moment to kind of ease away from that work that you've just done. And then maybe just little baby shruggy rolls of the shoulders. Doesn't even need to be a full range of motion. Just think more like increased blood flow back into that upper back body area. And then once you found that increased blood flow, we're going to sit ourselves up, legs out in front of us, nice and long. And you're going to put a good, gentle bend in the knees. And once you've got that good, gentle bend in your knees, you're going to take a nice big breath. Reach your arms up and overhead and think up and over. Exhale, reach towards your feet. And then just tune in and feel. Feel the backs of your legs. Feel the backs of your shoulder blades. Take a nice big breath. One more breath. And then when you're ready, slowly, slowly, slowly walk yourself up and out that forward. Give everything that last little wiggle around so it all feels good. You guys are amazing. Nice work today.